Welcome, welcome, Shadowdark Dungeon continues, and boy oh boy, we have lost Sodrug, our thief half-orc. We ran into some half-orcs who are going to kind of run out and do their own thing, but they had a map that kind of shows us the way where we should go next. Currently, we have a blind mammoth who's dying and runs in the direction of sound. So, can they survive another section in the Infinite Dungeon? Can they get the hell out of here? Let's play to find out. Welcome back to the channel. This is the Sacred Art of Gaming, where we love solo plays, tabletop, and thinking about it in all kinds of crazy ways. And this time, we're using the Infinite Dungeon map, which continues to roll, and we discover more new fun things. We're using Shadowdark, and we're also using the beta version of OO and the solo rules for Shadowdark. So, let us continue. We know there is a mammoth. Of all the minis, I don't think I have any mammoth minis, but I don't know, let me find something big. I should have planned for this. You're kind of mammoth-y, right? Sort of? No? Okay. Alright, so we know that there are 6 half-orcs that ran off in another direction from us. We don't know about the mammoth and the sound stuff. This is a perfect situation for OO. Now, we have a fighter, 2 priests, and a thief. Offhand, I feel like the thief would maybe be the one, but no. No, the thief sucks at wisdom too. So, Ham Miggs, would maybe be the one to notice. But I think it's something we should just roll on. And this mammoth is dying. I feel like the obvious thing, so we'll probably do a OO roll, which has to do with the obvious, the option, and the odd. And this is for emulating player options, or thoughts, really. So the obvious to me is to sneak. There's a big creature, regardless of them knowing about it charging in the direction of sound. I feel like avoiding it, as most things in this place, is the best option. So that I think that's the obvious thing. The option, I think, would probably be to distract it in some way. Maybe throw something away so this way they can traverse. This would probably being the most obvious path straight through, and the snow probably gets like a little thicker on the sides. The odd being to just full on attack this thing. This being a group decision. 2. That is the option. So they are going to pick something up and throw it as a distraction. And it looks like there's all kinds of like rocks and bones and snow. Snow probably, I mean, there's plenty of that. And I feel like this is almost like blizzardy conditions too. Who would it be? Say 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be Tinder. Tinder picks up some snow and throws it over in this direction towards the bones. And the mammoth kind of makes some noises, some huffing and puffing, but not enough to like really trigger it because of the wind and everything. So he's actually just going to pick up something a little bigger, a little harder, a rock or a bone or something, and again throw it towards these bones. This time it makes a noise, and the mammoth charges in that direction and hits the bones. Some of the bones maybe even crack or break. This is where OO is good because we kind of organically potentially figured out what's going on here. Now, something else we need to keep in mind though, it is very dark, it is very windy, it is very cold. So how do we want to handle these hazards? Oh, hazards, perfect. So definitely movement restricting, that's for sure. All right, not really seeing any rules for that. All right, I'm not seeing any rules for that, so I'm gonna make it up. They are going to, should we just use light? The spell, touched objects glow for 1 hour. And Bugnook no longer has a club because that went on fire. We'll say, we'll probably just use the muddy torch for now. We'll just start with the muddy torch. All right, I don't really have good rules for light. In solo play, I know there's kind of like, I think they do mention it, light sources last 10 rounds instead of 1 hour of real time. All right, I mean, that's more or less 10 minutes. Let's just do that. I like the idea of it being real time. It's just 1 hour in solo play is a long time, and it's a muddy torch. I don't know, we'll start with that. So lights the muddy torch. We are trying to sneak, but also stay warm. We want to be able to see. We're going to go in the opposite direction, but we do want to stay in this middle area. I also think we should all make some type of constitution roll, and that may have some type of effects on us. Say this is our marching order. So constitution for Malol, and we'll say this is normal. 18. That is good. Next is Budrug. 2. That is not good. Tinder. 6. Fairly certain that is not good. Nope. And then lastly, Ham. 4. Alright. So, they don't have winter gear. So, our guy up front is good. Everyone other than Malol, I say guy, Malol is female. They all are going to, what would be a good consequence for this, for them in the cold? Like, I feel like it shouldn't be damage. But there really isn't anything else. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here, Malol, we'll say Malol has gotten halfway. This will be like a series of checks. So, yeah, I think time. Time is what we want to attack here. Because Malol is pulling ahead, I think Malol is also going to have to light up a torch, which kind of screws up my time, but whatever, I suppose. So I'll just have to keep that in mind. We will do another con roll for Malol. 17, still good. So we'll say Malol is able to make it. These three guys is making like half of the progress because they failed. When that second time, like, was there a reason for the Mammoth to hear Malol? I think on a failure. On a failure, it's going, I mean, it doesn't really make sense other than, like, they're just out there for longer. So yeah, we'll say on this round, what we're gonna do is at the beginning of every round, this guy will do a Shadowdark roll. If does the Mammoth hear them? Yes, the Mammoth does, or at least hear something generally in this direction. That is not good. So the Mammoth is going to charge. I'd say this is probably going to be dex checks for the group. We'll start with who's in front, which is Bugnuk. Not dexterous at all. Fucked. Screwed. Bugnuk is screwed. So Bugnuk may take some damage from that. Tinder. 8. Oh. And this is normal, so also not enough. Ham. 5. Alright. So all of them are potentially getting trampled in some way. Do we want this to be damage? Because it is blind and dying, we'll say a D3. Oh, and good thing, because we're going to divide that in half. So all of them are going to take basically half their life in damage. That is rough. They're going to have to get up, and they are going to have to try and find a way across. And now they've got it like right on them. Are the orcs nearby? Yeah, we'll start with, are the orcs making noise? We'll say that. No, they are not. They are sneakier than we are. All right, so let's do con again for Bugnuk. Bugnuk, you make it. All right, cool. Bugnook is almost there. Tinder. No. And then Ham. Ham is good, I want to say. Yeah, Ham is good. So it's really just Tinder. Does Tinder have... Because this is not good for Tinder. I like Tinder. So Tinder does have advantage in sneaking. Does Tinder have... It's going to have advantage on stealth here. What are the chances of double ones? This could end Tinder. That's so wild, double ones. Let me look at the luck point here. Luck tokens, just in case there's anything that says, like, you can't use it if you crit fail. Luck token, big sacrifices, you can only have one. Any roll. Yeah. Gonna use that for sure. Really not digging the tower right now. But that is enough for Tinder to at least be sneaky amongst the snow. Alright, so that brings us back to the top of the round. The Mammoth is still like just walking around, kind of doing its own thing, but if it hears anything, it is going to charge in that direction. And because it's old, dying, blind, it's not going to do nearly as much damage as it normally would do. But still a lot for these guys. Alright, so we have 2 more con rolls. They're trying to be quiet, but they're waving their torches so that they can see them. We'll start with Bugnook. 13. That is good. And a nat 20 on Ham. We'll go and flip this so some of the torches went out, and we'll say that Ham gets here and then lights up the skull with its light spell in hopes that it'll guide Tinder in the right direction. Tinder really needs to get this Mammoth away. You know what's funny is Tinder has a bestiary. That's funny. I think it's likely that there's some stuff that Tinder can grab. I'm not going to roll. I'm going to say yes. There is something over here Tinder can grab and throw. Will it make enough noise? We'll do a dex check. 19, yes! And that'll kind of get the Mammoth off of him back in this direction. And can Tinder make it? At least some of the way. Yes, I think. Yes, all right, cool. So Tinder makes it over here. And then we'll ask again, are the orcs around making noise in any way? Still no. Okay, so can Tinder make it? 10. I mean, actually, he's so close. I don't even know if it's worth rolling on. So yeah, we will say Tinder for this last little bit. Instead of if he can make it, we'll say can he make it without making noise in any way. So we'll roll 2 d20s for his stealth. Yes, he's good. So yeah, sorry about that. And the Mammoth is just still out here, just doing its thing. We are down a couple, at least 1 torch. We'll say we're on Malol's torch now. And we are moving up to the next section. Let's see what we unlock. Alright, Skull still in frame. I do think, I think that this kind of shields them a bit from the environment, this skull, which would give them a brief opportunity to potentially do some healing. We'll say each priest can heal 1, and let's take a look at heal, or cure wounds, close, d6s. So roll a number of d6s equal to 1 plus half of your level. Round it down. All right, so Tinder is going to get healed by Ham, and Ham is going to get healed by Bugnook. All right, so this is for Tinder. So that's 4. That's great. And then this is for Ham. All right. So they are back at full. That was handy. I just realized I had them have like the same spells. but those spells are honestly so important for this game. Cure wounds, and light. I feel like you would have been foolish not to have them, even if you had 2 priests with the same spells. All right, cool. So that is what we did there. Now, is there anything in the skull? I like the idea of there being something in the skull. Feels like an important place. Well, let's start with, we can utilize Triple O here. Would they even, because I don't even know. I like the idea of checking first before I know, as if they were real players. Do any of the players check and look around the skull while they're waiting in there? I think the obvious, so we have 2 priests, a kobold, an elf, a halfling, and a goblin. I feel like the elf would, the priests maybe. Would they just, I feel like the obvious is that they just sit down and they take a breather. The option is that they look around. The odd is that they try and like make some type of makeshift weapon out of the bones that they're finding in the area. I don't know why I'm rolling a d20. That was a waste of a good roll too. It's a d6. 4. That is the obvious. So yeah, they're just going to rest in the skull for a bit as that healing takes place. And now we have this. I don't know, what is this? What could that be? There's like the mundane option, but then there's also like the magical option. I can't, or you know what? Is it possible that this is like lava from the mountain? I think that makes the most sense. I think, yeah, that is lava. Oh man, so that is very interesting. Lava with the rock and the ice and the snow. So in this next section, they have the lava to contend with. I would also say this is kind of like ruins. Ruins. Get our D-hundo. That's a 45. A rusty portcullis slams down, separating the PCs. That does not really apply here. Let's roll again. I have rolled more 100s on this channel than I ever have in my life. The body of a... Oh! The body of a dead crawler holds a random magic item. I like that a lot. But we're going to have to figure out a way to get around this lava. So we'll say the cold. We'll say it's a little warmer over here because of the lava, but light is still an issue. We've just used 1 torch, our muddy torch. We have a 3rd one. I feel like a normal torch should be better than a muddy torch. Should it be twice as good? I have a 5. Okay. All right, so we've got a torch. It's still the same torch that Malol was using. And now we need to figure out, like, what is the best way for us to traverse this situation? Do we have anything in our kit? We do know that Malol can fly. Fly for 3 rounds once per day. Should we use this here? Because I feel like it's not worth the risk. I want to forget that Bugnook did not get healed there. I feel like it's not worth the risk. And it might be good to kind of like fly overhead, could probably very easily take the turn to fly over and look to see, is there anything of note? And we'll say that yes, probably is able to see that there is someone who looks like they're strapped up within these ruins. Now, would they, because someone who's got some decent gear has died in here, would any of them check for traps? I feel like our thief would want to check for traps. And we do have a lot of characters that are, I would say, like dungeon regulars. So yeah, I think it's probably likely that they would check for traps. So I'll actually roll for advantage with that, just to see if there's anything fishy going on. So the obvious being that yes, they would check for traps. The option being that they would just go right to the corpse and start looking at it. And the odd would be that they set up like a perimeter, we'll say. 4 and a 3. That was close, but yes, they do check for traps. So they do kind of spread out, look around. Tinder not even necessarily the best at it, so we'll say Tinder and Ham. They look around. Tinder looks over there, Ham looks over there. This being for Tinder, 14, this being a normal roll. So Tinder's good, and Ham also good. Ham had an amazing roll. So yeah, they look around. Now I'm curious, are there traps? Do they find any traps? Yeah, kind of the same roll. 3, no, there are no traps. They feel very good. So that's what I love about Triple O for this situation. I would have been in a weird spot where I would have like searched for traps that may or may not have been there and then felt like, did there have to be traps there because they looked for them? Is that the succeed in that situation? Yeah, so I'm digging it. So yeah, no traps. They do look at the body and what is this magical item? All right, so we will go ahead and roll D6 here. It is a potion. Great. I'm gonna roll twice because to say that we rolled 100 and it's an event, I feel like there should be more than one. Potion and a utility. Got a D8 table. Oh, this is making a potion. I just realized. I can't just get, yeah, like this is what I'm looking for. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. That's kind of tough. We'll roll a D10. If I get a 10, I'll pick. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Potion of Legendary Deeds. When you drink this potion, you gain 1 level and your XP total resets to 0. Very interesting. Wow, okay. How am I going to do this for utility? I think I'm going to be forced to make one. So it is a circlet that hums quiet, sweet tones. And it senses secret doors when they're within close range. Oh, you know what? We should have just realized. Qualities. We need to roll 2d6. So we'll keep that in mind. That's an 11. So just 1 benefit. Alright, so yeah, we are done. Very cool. Sense secret doors when you're within close range. I dig that. Is there any kind of weapon, I would say likely, on this adventure? Yes, there is a weapon. At least one. Because it feels like they're a solid adventurer, maybe we'll skip the range. Maybe that'll make it easy. So there's a crossbow, a long bow, a short bow. That'll probably bring us to 12, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, cool. Roll a d12. That's an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A mace. Malol's going to pick that mace up because Malol needs a weapon. It's just as unfortunate because he's good with spears. So that was not too bad. That is another torch down. And yeah, these ruins, I'd say we're probably, it looks like we're going to like an ice bridge. And they did mention like the palace. Moving on up. Okay, so this is our 4 adventurers. They have to cross this little ice bridge. And it looks like this may be the ice palace that the orcs had on their map. Can they make it? Can they survive? Sounds like the way out is through this palace. What is in there? We'll find out in the next one. Maybe the one after that. I feel like there's 1, maybe 2 episodes left to wrap this whole thing up. And someone's getting a level. This is awesome. And someone's getting a circlet. So, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you are digging the content, you're digging Shadowdark, you're digging Triple O, want to know more about it, I'll be honest with you, I'm probably going to use this all the time because I love it. Well, for situations where I feel like I should use it. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one as we continue to explore the sacred art of gaming together.